Annual averages and variations. So 50,000 years ago, the U.S. had much different weather patterns than it does today. The average temperature was probably several degrees cooler because the jet stream was probably further south. Now, the jet stream is a band of winds that are high in the atmosphere that basically help hold air masses where they are. So if you have, say, the North Pole up here, you got a jet stream that runs around it here and holds the cold air up here. Okay, so if that jet stream moves further south, then the cold air can move further south as well. Now, climatology is the study of Earth's climate and the factors that cause past, present, and future climate changes. So that's the goal of climatology, is really to understand the climate, how the climate changes, what it used to be, etc. That's the whole goal of the science of climatology. Climate then really describes the long-term weather patterns of an area. There's a common misconception about weather versus climate. Well, weather is now. Weather is basically what's going on right now. While climate is the long-term average weather pattern in an area. So climate describes annual variations of temperature, precipitation, wind, and other variables. So again, weather is like what it's doing right now, but you may have, if you think about the seasons, or like it's cold in the winter, but it's hot in the summer, well, that's part of your annual variations. There are extreme fluctuations in this over time as well. Normals. So data used to describe climate are compiled from meteorological records. These are continuously gathered at thousands of locations around the world. A lot of these are at airports because airports have to have current weather data to actually operate. These data include daily high and low temperatures, amounts of rainfall, wind speed and direction, humidity, and air pressure, to name a few things. Data are averaged on a monthly or annual basis for at least 30 years to determine normal. So you have to have at least 30 years of data to say it's an actual official normal. Now, normals are the standard values for weather data for a location based on at least 30 years worth of records. And again, these are largely done at airports because airports have to have current weather data in order to operate. So limitations of normals. So weather conditions on any given day may differ widely from the normals. So we have our normals, which are our average of 30 years, but on any given day, the weather conditions could be way off from what the normals are. So since these are an average value, no single day is going to match the normals. Okay, so our normals are average values, so no single day is going to match that. Normals only apply to a very specific location, not an entire region. So if it's on top of a hill, you got the weather conditions for, or the normal conditions for the top of that hill, for example. Most data are collected at airports because they need accurate, up-to-date weather information to operate. Most airports are then outside of cities, meaning the data may not accurately represent the city itself. Or again, like I said, airports tend to also be on top of hills, if there are hills. So the weather data would be for the top of the hill, not the bottom. We'll see later that elevation does actually change that. And yeah, elevation and proximity to large bodies of water also affect climate. So if you have, say, the information from an airport, and that's at a higher elevation, that's going to change your normal values from, say, the valley that's beside it. Or if the airport's away from a body of water or close to a body of water, even that's going to change the normal values for that airport and where that data is collected.